Yes.
Okay, so Eastern medicine looks at it in a different way. And what does that look like from the Eastern, as you said, philosophy? What does that look like?
So they will look at the whole body as a whole garden.
Okay.
So anything going wrong can be from malfunction from various parts of the body, not just the particular parts. If you have heart problem, if you have liver problem, it may be originated from somewhere else.
Hey, welcome back to Storypower. Hey, welcome back to Storypower TV. I am your host, Loren Norris. It is so awesome to be with you again and to be back in our own studio. We've been traveling all over the world, but we have a series of guests in the studio today, and I think you're going to have some fun with them. These are people who actually traveled to Texas to spend time with us. The Storypower Academy retreat was this last week. And so we've had a chance to really dig into the power of story and communication. And it's a big deal. Now, one of the people who's been a part of that, we've been acquaintances and doing work together for about 6 months now, is a lady who actually flew here from Colombia via Puerto Rico and Boston. And she's a world traveler, like Gulliver, all over the place. But she's sitting down with me to talk today about her brand new book that's coming out very soon. You should pre-order it now because it's really, well, in my opinion, it's a revolution. So help me welcome to the studio, Dr. Yi Song, author of The Regeneration Effect. Now, the subtitle of Regeneration Effect is
Secret Wisdom for Staying Young.
Secret Wisdom for Staying Young. And I think one of the most fascinating things I heard when you and I first met was the idea that Western medicine and Eastern medicine are not just different techniques, they're different technologies. It's a completely different mindset. Is that right?
Completely different philosophy, different approach.
So tell me what makes them so different to start with.
So Western medicine is reductionism. So
Okay.
they try to look into cells, molecules, and study one molecule, thinking if we block that one molecule, then we can fix the problem, the disease that's caused by some malfunction or irregularity of that particular molecule.
Okay.
So you're looking at one tree instead of the whole forest.
So you're looking at the granular level and asking, what does this molecule, this DNA molecule, this lipid, whatever, what impact does it have on the rest of the body, rather than asking, how does the body handle that thing?
Yes.
Am I on the right track?
Yes.
Okay. So Eastern medicine looks at it in a different way. And what does that look like from the Eastern, as you said, philosophy? What does that look like?
So they will look at the whole body as a whole garden.
Okay.
So anything going wrong can be from malfunction from various parts of the body, not just the particular parts. If you have heart problem, if you have liver problem, it may be originated from somewhere else.
So a heart problem isn't a heart problem?
If you say somebody has a heart attack, yes, it is a heart problem.
Okay.
But
is it the heart that caused
the origin of the heart problem can be from other things that's accumulating over time that manifests as heart problem.
So it shows up in the heart, but it didn't originate in the heart.
Yes.
Gotcha. So when you say garden, I think of a cultivated garden where, you know what's growing there. You give it the right kind of food or the right kind of supplements. Like, I mean, if you've got dandelions, some people call those weeds and they put, Roundup on them. Other people call them food and they put salad dressing on them. So how you look at your garden is completely different in the way you treat it. Is that right?
Yes.
So how does that translate to the body?
So the garden, if your body is like a garden, then your whole body has an irrigation system that has to reach every part of the body if it functions correctly.
Okay.
But we have many things that can cause malfunction in the irrigation system. So if the irrigation system gets blocked in certain place, then it can affect many parts of the body. If that particular irrigation system that's blocked is going towards different parts of the body, several parts of the body, depending on where it's blocked.
Okay, so my very limited knowledge of the human body, I think of systems, the circulatory system, the respiratory system, the thyroid system, the digestive system. when I think of irrigation system, I think of turn on the sprinkler and make sure the water doesn't run through the mud and wash away all the soil. Help me see the relationship between those.
So the irrigation system in Eastern philosophy and medicine refers to the energy circulation.
Oh, so that's not respiratory, that's not cardiac, that's not.
No.
Okay, so what is it?
So the energy circulation system in Chinese medicine, it circulates in channels in your body.
Okay.
And
so
the channels,
like Reiki channels.
I
mean, is that am I on the right track, or is that something totally else?
You can imagine it's some kind of imaginary blood vessel type of channel.
Okay.
So there's energy flowing in the channel.
Okay.
And each channel is connected to different organs inside your body.
Okay.
So that's why there are 12 main channels in Chinese medicine.
Okay.
And then when you do meditation, qigong, or acupuncture, you're actually affecting the energy flow inside the channels. And then when you affect the energy flow inside the channels, you can also affect the organs that are connected to that particular channel.
Okay, so I know that, for an example, if you get electrified, a lot of people will say the word electrocuted, but electrocuted usually means dead. Electrified means an electrical charge has run through your body from head to toe. And I know people have like lost their whole foot because they grabbed something powerful and it went through. I also know, though, that on a smaller scale of that, people who sleep with their phone under their pillow have an electrical charge going into their head. Every time the phone sends and receives an email, it's blasting out EMFs and unseeable microwaves, if you will, into their head. So how do those things, standing in front of your microwave, sleeping with your head on your pillow, having a radio with Bluetooth going all night long, how do those things impact these energy channels you're talking about?
So I think that will affect your energy flow somewhat. And also in Chinese medicine, in different channels, you have peak energy at different time of the day.
Really?
So like from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. is liver time. And
Okay.
1 a.m. to 3 a.m. is gallbladder time. So that means 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. is a peak energy flow in the liver channel. And then from 1 to 3 a.m. would be the gallbladder channel. And 3 to 5 would be the lung channel. So yeah, it follows 24 hours.
Okay, so if there's a timing, then am I understanding that it flows from this place to this place? Like it's here at 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. and then from 3 a.m. it moves to another place? I mean,
I think
is it like a little boat in a river?
I think, in all the channels, constantly 24 hours, you have the energy flow. But the peak energy is like, maybe you can imagine a global of energy that's
Moving
the peak, then that would be following this clock.
Okay, so see if I can put this. So like a bus station, right? If I'm following the bus around and it's at Grand Central Station at 2 p.m. and then it's at the YMCA at 4 p.m. and it's at the school at 6 p.m. Every day at 6 p.m. if I go there, there's the bus.
Yes.
Okay, but the bus takes itself there, and the energy of people getting on and off the bus happens when the bus arrives. That's when all the interchange happens. So is the energy arriving in the liver and that's what's causing all the peak energy, or is it the liver is now doing its thing?
I think mainly the liver time, the peak energy time is the liver, when liver is mainly
processing,
doing its, because that's why 11 to 1 a.m. is very important for people to be sleeping, because that's a time the liver would gather all the blood flow and then detoxify.
Right. Before I ever heard the word circadian rhythm, right? Am I saying that right? Circadian rhythm.
Circadian.
Before I ever heard that phrase, I know I was in the fire department in the Air Force, and my schedule was Monday to Wednesday. I worked from 3 p.m. to midnight, and Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I worked from midnight till 8 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday of the next week, I would work from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. and then I would have 2 days off. And then I would start the cycle over again at 3 p.m. to midnight, midnight to 8, 8 to 3. There were times that I would be walking home from work at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't know if I was supposed to go eat breakfast, go take a shower and go to bed, or go sit in the bathroom until my tummy didn't feel like I was sick, because I was just all over the place.
Yeah.
And when I worked that next shift and I got off at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I didn't know if I was supposed to go eat dinner or go to bed, or what I was supposed to do. And especially on that third day of that shift, because I knew I get off at 3, but I got to be back at midnight. How does a schedule like that? Because I see college kids doing a very similar thing. They go to school all day, they work in the afternoon, they party all night, they get up and immediately go to school, they drown themselves in energy drinks, and then they go to class. And how does that kind of offset rhythm impact the natural flow in the body?
So, like, we still use the liver as a example. From 11 p.m. to 1 a.m., you're supposed to be sleeping. Then that's when liver can get all the blood gathered more in the liver, so then they can do the detoxification.
Right.
But if you are now,
if you're not sleeping,
then the liver cannot
detoxify,
retract the blood more, because it has to supply your energy for your staying up.
Right.
So then the liver cannot detoxify as well, because it doesn't have the backflow of the blood to the liver to do its work at the peak energy. So and then once you miss that time, then say if you sleep at
4 p.m.,
7 a.m., you go to bed. At that time, the peak energy in liver already passed. So then it doesn't have the efficiency to process the detoxification.
So never going to do that. So what happens then to the body when that blood is not detoxed the way the liver is supposed to be doing it?
So then your body build up the toxin, because it's not detoxified when it's supposed to be doing.
So what kind of toxins are we talking about? I know in the gut we could be talking about anything, heavy metals, parasites, bacterias. What kind of toxin are we talking about in the blood?
This is not really talking about, like, in our understanding, like bacteria, virus, or those type of things. It's more like energetically toxin.
Okay.
So then if over time you build up this toxin that's supposed to be detoxified outside of your body while you're sleeping, but then you are now sleeping, so it's not done correctly, efficiently, this has to go on for maybe more than 10 years, then something can happen, basically like the blockage of the irrigation system we started out with.
Right.
Then once that happens, then certain area can develop cancer or autoimmune conditions.
So we're talking like cirrhosis of the liver type of thing?
No, it's more like, like even breast cancer, or stomach cancer.
And that's because the blood isn't doing its thing,
because
cycling the way it should.
Because when the liver function is affected because of your lifestyle schedule is wrong, not according to the natural cycle, then basically that affects the whole garden irrigation system.
Okay. And it's a downline thing too, right?
So then
it's not doing right, the lungs aren't doing right, etc.
So then you will have, because the liver in Chinese medicine actually is the organ that governs the blood flow inside the body.
Okay.
So if you have blockage, then certain area cannot basically be efficiently monitored by your immune system. That goes to the Western medicine understanding.
Right.
So then the immune system is the system that monitors any cancer cells, any growth of irregular cells, or those type of things.
Right.
So if your immune system are not eradicating the mutated cells as fast as they should be, then over time the mutated cells accumulate. Because our body actually generates cancer cells all the time. Because the cancer cells eventually they come from certain cells that have mutations in the DNA that makes them grow wildly, uncontrolled.
Like bluebonnets.
Yeah. So then if your immune system cannot eradicate these malfunction cells efficiently, they accumulate over time. So this always take over 10 years of time usually to accumulate.
Is it obvious before that 10-year cycle? I mean, aside from looking at your sleep habit and going, look, dude, you should be sleeping from 11 to 1 and you're not. So 10 years from now, you're going to have cancer.
It's not like a causal effect.
Okay.
But if you...
It increases the likelihood.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So in your book, if I remember right, you talk about 6 key principles for the regeneration effect to do its work. And that's under the Eastern philosophy, but with regard to, or at least in light of Western medicine and its impact on those 6 things. Do I follow that right?
Yes.
So what are those 6 principles?
So first one, we also need to recognize your body's constitution, which means your body type.
Okay. So that's like looking at your garden and going, yes, I have dandelions. I want to water them and not weed kill them, right?
So each person is born with certain body type. And in Eastern philosophy, we also have 5 elements. So wood, fire, earth, metal, and water.
Okay.
So everybody belongs
body type is what,
belongs
5?
to certain element or has more propensity towards one element than the other 4.
Okay, and so those 5 elements identify the body's constitution. Is that what I'm understanding?
It can be one aspect of the body's constitution, but it also can be certain people are born with digestive system weakness.
Okay.
Like I do.
Okay.
Or certain people are born with excess heat that I do too. I think it has something to do with my mom when she was pregnant with me. She got a lot of glucose IV the last trimester.
Wow.
Because they think my heart was now functioning correctly or something like that.
So it's really made your metabolism race, right?
I don't really know. And I think my mom also, she herself also has excess heat in her body. So then
so
she can pass it down.
Does that make you fire?
I'm actually more wood.
Okay.
But it's not like clear cut, you're wood, you're now fire. It can be like mixed in between. You can.
So it's like a disc analysis.
Yeah.
So you have a propensity or a prominence, but it's really you're all of them.
Yes, it's very complicated.
So how do you help somebody find their constitution?
So you need to go through the health history to see whether you have the symptoms, and then you also look at their tongue to see whether they have internal heat or they have internal cold. Okay. And then you also palpate their pulse, and you can tell from their facial appearance or body type.
You mean like the shape of the face? Or
like the color, okay. Also even the way they talk, the voice, the low voice, high voice, pitch of the voice, and also even their personality. Because, for example, if somebody tend to be sad about a lot of things, they are actually more water type. And then if they tend to be sad all the time, or they can be sad very frequently, just due to something like other people think, why are you sad about this? Then that's also related to the kidney.
Okay, so when you say sad, do you mean like clinical depression, or do you mean they're emotionally responsive to things in an empathetic way?
That's more like their response to things, like they tend to get really sad. It doesn't necessarily mean they're depressed.
But it does help you to indicate the constitution of their body, which then helps you understand how their body reacts to things. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. So what's number 2? Constitution is number 1 of the 6.
So number 2 would be early prevention. So once you recognize somebody's constitution, like if you know, like me, I have digestive system weakness from birth.
Right.
And also because of that, I have excess phlegm building up in my body, and I have some heat passed down from my mother.
Okay.
So then you will address these imbalances early on without even a lot of symptoms. So when I was born,
you know they're coming. So
exactly.
So
you have the predisposition to these things.
Right. So that epigenetic.
Yes.
Okay. So Western medicine would look at it and go, your parents have diabetes, your grandparents have diabetes. You probably should avoid sugar and make sure that you maintain your glucose levels your A1C in a certain limit.
That's sort of like that, but
Okay.
that's more like, again, reductionist view.
Okay.
But the digestive system weakness, a lot of times you don't even show that until later on in your life, because when you are a child, your body is still growing and your energy is still full.
Right.
It may not show that much. But if you do the wrong thing when you're as a teenager or even in your 20s, if you already have the digestive system weakness and then you do the wrong thing, like drinking a lot of cold drinks, eating a lot of cold food, not really strengthening your digestive system, then maybe in your 30s, you will start showing gastric problem,
Acid reflux,
or even
anxiety,
ulcerative colitis,
okay,
or irritable
Crohn's
bowel.
disease.
So that can show up. But then before they actually show the symptoms, if you know that, you can actually prevent these things from coming. So like I said, I was born with digestive system weakness. I know that maybe since I was 6, because my parents took me to see the Chinese medicine doctors when I was little. And then I already knew that.
And if I remember right, and this is from our conversation way back, so please correct me if I'm wrong, but you had what showed up like eczema or rosacea or something of that nature
when I was born.
And you later found out that was a result of...
That's a result of my damp heat from birth. And then my damp heat was a result of digestive
weakness. Okay. So there was evidence of, but nobody was putting those two together until later on.
I would say, like, if we went to see that Chinese medicine doctor in China, they would always tell me I have damp heat. But in my mind, I didn't understand that until maybe I was 16.
Wow. Okay. So identify the Constitution, early prevention, which means reading the Constitution, knowing probably what's coming next. And what's number 3?
Number 3 is treating the root cause. So the first 1, 2, 3 actually are interlaced, because in order for you to treat the root cause, you need to understand your constitution. That's when you can understand what's the root cause of your problem. Of course, like what we said first thing about people having irregular lifestyle, that can be causing certain problems in the liver function or the circulation in the body. But the root cause is the liver blockage.
Because the liver's not functioning at the proper time.
Because over a long time you are having irregular lifestyle. So then if you want to do the early prevention before even any serious symptoms of liver blockage shows up, then you can address your lifestyle issue to make the liver function better. And then if you already have some blockage but hasn't shown as serious symptoms, then you can start addressing those things to unblock the area that you have the blockage.
Okay. So what's number 4?
So number 4 is follow the natural flow.
Okay.
So again, because if you have blockage, if you have certain weakness that causing the blockage, then you want to follow what the natural flow is supposed to be, so that you're not working against the natural circadian.
All right. So if you know what your constitution is and you're looking to prevent those things early on, and you're following the steps and you're following the natural flow, then the body's operating like it's supposed to, and it's maximum benefit, at least according to what it's designed to do, right?
Yes.
You don't become Superman just because you're doing that kind of stuff. But let's say, for an example, that your lifestyle isn't, I work all nights, and so I go to work at midnight and I don't get off till 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. But maybe you just stay up late every night and you go to bed at midnight instead of 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock.
Yes.
Does that cutting the liver's high energy peak timeline in half, going to bed at midnight instead of being in bed by 11 to rest, does that cutting it in half mean that it's not going to be 10 years down the road that you have problems? It's going to be 20 years down the road that you're going to have problems? Or does it mean that you're not going to have any problems because you're still getting an hour's rest?
That depends on your body's constitution. For some people who have stronger constitution in that sense, they may not show any problem.
Oh, so it may never manifest as a problem at all because their body's quote unquote made for that.
You cannot say it's made for that, but I would say maybe 30 years down the road when they get, or even when they get to 50s, 60s, they may
There's going to be a price to pay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm now following all these even when I was in my 30s. So
okay.
I can feel it did have some effect on me. That's why I corrected that.
Okay. So what time do you go to bed now?
Usually 10:30.
Okay.
But sometimes maybe past 11, but I try not to.
Because I know some people are like, I stop eating at 6 o'clock. I'm in bed by 8 o'clock. I'm up by 4 o'clock and my life is awesome.
Again, that you have to see also your body type.
Because
not everybody's body can handle getting up at 4 a.m.
Huh?
Because for me, I don't like getting up at 4 a.m. I tried. So I feel even like people saying like, biohackers, they say, do the red light therapy. Mm-hmm. And even this guy who's in Canada, he runs a company called DNA Company. So you can actually send your sample and then they will test your DNA to tell you are now suitable to do the red light therapy. Because for some people, they do red light therapy, they feel great afterwards. But then for some people, they don't feel that great. They feel terrible.
Same with like hydrogenated water and cold plunge and salts and...
For everything, we try to say this is good for you, but it may be good for a certain amount of people, but not the other type of people.
There's a company called Relief Factor. Okay. And in their ad, they actually say 70% of people that order it the first time never stop ordering it. And I'm like, so what you're saying is you've got a 70% effective rate, 7 out of 10 people actually like it, and 30 think it's horrible, or 30 people didn't get any results out of it. That seems like a pretty good indication that it doesn't work for everybody. But it doesn't seem like I remember the Lysol can when it came out, it says kills 99.99% of all germs. And I'm like, that you spray it on? I mean, and if you don't spray it on those germs, do they like move and wait until it dries and they come back later? If you're spraying that stuff in your house, how do you have any germs at all if it kills 100% of them? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, you still have the air circulating from outside. So even you spray it on, you would still have germ coming in.
And germs in your skin and germs in your hair.
And also you want good bacteria too, right? So you cannot kill everything.
It's like weed killer on your dandelions, right? It's hard to eat it first.
You need a good microbiome in your body too. So you cannot kill everything.
Okay, so let's recap. Number 1 is your constitution.
Yeah.
Number 2 is?
Early prevention.
Number 3?
Treating the root cause.
Number 4?
Follow the natural flow.
Okay. Number 5?
Tend the garden.
Tend the garden. Okay. We haven't talked about that one yet, have we?
We talked about it in the beginning, right?
We
say your body is a garden.
Okay. So tend the garden is taking care of each element in that cultivated garden that is your body.
Yes.
So doing the things that are right for your liver, doing the things that are right for your heart, doing the things that are right for your brain.
Whatever, like you recognize you have certain weakness, but then when you tend the garden, you can now just only look at the weakness in your body. You also have to look at the excess, the strength in your body to moderate. Because when you have weakness, you have strength, then it's out of balance, then you have to moderate them.
Okay. And so tend the garden, and then one of them is treat the root cause, is that right?
That's the second one. It's the third one.
It's the third one, okay. So now we're at 5, tend the garden.
And the 6 is basically we address everything in a holistic way. So that actually goes to what we were talking about. Like not everybody is suitable to do the red light therapy. Not everybody is suitable to do infrared sauna. You have to look at what's the good proportion of different approaches for you to achieve the optimal health and longevity.
And it's more than one approach, right?
Yes.
Because I know that you do chiropractic, right? You've got a clinic in Boston.
I do acupuncture.
You do acupuncture. You used to do chiropractic, or you run a chiropractor?
I never did it.
Never did. Okay. So
actually, chiropractic is a part of the adjustment thing in Chinese medicine. they always had the adjustment part too, but they don't look at it in the way that chiropractic does.
Really?
You know, so it's just a little bit different, but
okay.
Yeah.
So is massage closer to the Chinese method?
If you call massage like tuina, which is maybe
it's not just rubbing to feel
Eastern,
good, it's
Eastern
realignment.
massage.
Okay.
So it's like stronger, and also it has manipulation in it. Then
Okay.
it's closer to the Chinese part of chiropractic.
Interesting. Okay, so tell me about acupuncture and how that fits in the whole 6 principles.
So in the beginning, we talked about the channels, the
Right.
flowing of the energy in the channels. That's the foundation of Chinese medicine.
Okay.
And the origin of all these concepts actually came from people 6,000 years ago. They were looking for immortality in China.
Okay.
And they were doing advanced meditation. When they were in the advanced meditative state, they could envision the flow of the energy. That's how they discovered from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. is liver time. Because when you can envision, then you can envision when is the peak time in certain channel.
Interesting.
And even in modern days, there were still people who had that ability, but just very, very few.
Like Tibetan monks?
Maybe. There's a book written by modern people.
Okay.
Some of them, a lot of them actually has some kind of conditions that they even search for treatment in Western medicine. And they never got better with any treatment from Western medicine. Then they resorted to meditation. And then when they got to a certain stage, they actually healed themselves. So if everybody can get into that stage, I think everybody can heal their body. But it's just very difficult. I don't think I'm even at this stage. I know I have some ability I can achieve to a certain stage, but I'm not at that level. Because those people who wrote that book, who was introduced to me by my mom's friend, which is the prototype of that story in Hangzhou, China.
Okay.
She actually can get into a higher level of meditation, and she had higher ability. And she told me that book, because that book, people talked about when they were doing that meditation, they can take aspirin or they can take certain Western medication, and that can also show them where the medication is flowing in the channel energetically.
Interesting. So you might call me a Jesus freak. I study the Bible, I study scripture, I listen to people that talk about Jesus and analyze the way that he interacted with society. And there are a lot of people that would look at Jesus' idea of meditation and Eastern meditation and say they have nothing to do with each other. And I'm not thoroughly convinced that's true. Now, I do believe that there's a place where we step into what some would call the universe or the ether or the spirit world, and you begin to see and know things that you can't know here. Even the Bible even talks about people that prayed and meditated, and then they saw things that haven't happened yet, and they saw things that were 5,000 years ago, and Jesus even healed people from like 100 miles away. It took hours to get there, and they're like, "Yeah, it's already happened." You're like, "How did that happen?" So I know there's something in this galaxy that we live in that I can't put my finger on, and I can't touch it or taste it or even see it or hear it, but it's there and it's real. And so when I hear someone say, well, you can meditate deeply enough to separate yourself from the physical world and know something that nobody else knows, I don't have an issue with that, other than to say that's cool and I'd love to learn how to do that and how it works and why it works. But I also look at that, even just the simple contrast of, are we looking at the molecular level and kind of poking at the ants? Are we trying to find the ant bed? That what you say, are we looking at the root cause? Or are we fighting against the symptoms? To me, that's like poking at ants with a pencil, trying to kill each individual ant. Well, you got a knee ache, and you got, your joints hurt in your feet, and you can't sleep at night, and you got neck pain, and you got a constant headache. And so you're smashing each of these little individual ants, and nobody's looking at the fact that you got major stress in your life and overwhelming cortisol levels, and your thyroid is blocked, and all of that has to do with the fact that you're dealing with trauma from years ago that you never dealt with, right? So there's a great book called The Body Keeps Score, and it's about how psychological trauma impacts all these little symptoms over here. It sounds to me like there's a great overlay in that concept with Eastern medicine and the flow and the Constitution. Would you say that I'm on a similar track with that, or are these two totally different things?
I think that's very similar.
Okay.
And also, you said you're going to ask me about my opinion of Jesus.
So the core question here is, who is Jesus to you? That's the core question of the show. So how does that fit into this whole conversation?
So I believe all the religions, this is my belief.
Okay.
I believe all the religions, they refer to the same superior power in the cosmos or in the universe.
Okay.
So Jesus is the representation of the superior power in the universe.
Okay.
Because Jesus is the son of the God, right? So he actually represents the power of the God, right?
Mm-hmm.
So God shows his power through his son.
Right.
And then the meditation, the energy flow, the advanced meditation, that is also to set up the connection between a regular human being to the superior power. That's how you connect to that superior power. So that's why you said Jesus can also heal people hundreds of miles away. It's the same concept as you use the energy through this meditation, and then you can travel at light speed, and then that's how you heal the person hundreds of miles away.
And there was a time that Jesus was walking through a crowd, and it was perplexing to his followers because he's walking with his 12 dudes through this crowd, and all these people are pressing on him from every side. And then all of a sudden he stops in his tracks and he goes, "Who touched me?" And his friends are like, "Dude, everybody touched you. What are you talking about? I mean, like people everywhere. It's like trying to get through the mall at Christmas." And he said, no, power went out from me. That's a profound statement from a religious perspective, to say this man in this crowd of people could say, I don't just mean another body brushed against mine. I mean, power left me and went to somebody else. There's not a lot of Christians who've solved in their head what that means. How would you look at that through your understanding of Eastern medicine and the flow of the garden and energy in the body?
So if Jesus said the power left him, that means maybe he reached a certain stage and then he released his power to reach certain things far away. Because in Eastern meditation, when you reach a certain stage, this is what somebody who actually was able to do that told me when I was maybe 12 years old. He was telling me, he's like a master in Qigong and meditation.
Okay.
So he told me when you reach a certain stage, your soul actually leaves your flesh.
See, when I picture that moment that Jesus was talking about, because what happened next is a woman who had had an issue of blood for 12 years. She'd seen all the doctors. She'd spent her life savings. Now, culturally, she had a problem. She's got a bleeding problem. And you're not even supposed to be out in public with that because people are like, you're unclean, you're nasty, you need to go home. But she walked up to the rabbi and touched the hem of his garment. And through the hem of his garment, the little tassels on the bottom of his robe, power went out. Now, I remember when I was a kid, we had this hideous green shag carpet. It was like an inch tall. It was like really bad grass. But you could run across that with your bare feet and rub your feet really fast and then touch somebody and a little spark would go boop. When I think Jesus said power went out from me, I mean, there was a whole crowd of people, but I think the energy that he contained and that direct connection to the Almighty, that energy in him, she drew on that power and went, I need something. And it says when she touched the hem of his garment, she was instantly healed. And he said, power went out from me.
So that was simultaneous, like when she
That's what the scripture says. The story says he's walking through the crowd with his disciples. This woman with an issue of blood that the doctors couldn't help came to him. And now here's what she knew. In that day, if this unclean woman touched that rabbi, she would be stoned to death. And she knew, the doctors can't help me. I've been dealing with this for 12 years, and either I'm going to die from this or I'm going to die for touching him. And she was okay with that. I would say that's kind of being at the end of your rope. You're like, look, whatever happens from here, it can't get any worse. I'm done. So I can touch him and he better maybe, or I can touch him. And when he turned to her, the scripture says she was healed instantly. And he said, power went out for me. Who did it? Everybody's like, dude, seriously, there's no way you could know. And then he sees her and he says, woman, your faith has made you whole. And she stood up and walked away clean.
Okay.
That's a powerful thing. But when you talk about energy healers, you talk about the energy of the liver and the energy in the body. And, you know, like I said, I know of the circulatory system and the respiratory system and the thyroid system and the muscular system, skeletal, all these systems in the body. Most people don't talk about the energy system of the body. I mean, there are people that even argue with you that the heart generates electricity.
It's now proven. And then in our modern science, we have now figured out what that energy is.
We have not yet figured it out?
No.
We don't know where it came from.
Well, no. It's more like we have now figured out how, you know, like the channel I talk about, there's no scientific proof.
Oh, you don't have a double-blind study?
No, just like scientific proof for stem cells, same thing.
Yeah. Okay, so you use acupuncture to do what to that energy system?
So the acupuncture, if you apply to the channels that related to the organ you're treating, or even coupled with the channel that you're supposed to treat, then you're actually affecting the flow of the energy inside the channel.
Okay, so I've had acupuncture one time when I had a back problem that nobody could solve. Just the one time, I don't know if it worked or not. I do know that the back pain went away. It's come back a couple of times, but it is almost always stress related. But I do know that when I see the picture, like of reflexology, for example, and people say this spot on the foot connects with that, and I'm like, I'm not sure I'm with you on that. The big toe and the liver, the what?
You look at your ear. Your
Ear for hearing
is the shape of the kidney. Don't you agree?
I don't know. I've never seen my kidney. I mean, I can almost see my ears like Dumbo ears, but
okay, your kidney is a shape too.
Okay.
So ear is directly related to kidney. And ear is an inverted fetus. So
I have seen that picture before.
Okay. So your ear is a reflection of your whole body. So really? you have points.
And you're not talking about ear. You're talking about ear.
Talking about the earlobe, this cartilage.
Yeah.
The outer ear, not the inner ear.
Okay, so are we talking about the physical representation? Are we talking about nerve endings or energy in the ear? What are we talking about?
This goes to the holographic theory.
Okay.
So everything in the universe is a holographic image of something bigger. So your body, not just the ear, even your hand just over here can be a holographic image for your whole body. Your leg, part of the leg can be a holographic. So the holographic means like if you take a small part out of your body, it actually can reflect your whole body. So the human body.
So is that like looking at the strand of the DNA or looking at the mitochondria of the cell, the ATP energy production of the cell and saying I can extrapolate? So like I know before COVID-19, I watched like a mini docuseries, like 7 or 8 episodes on mRNA and CRISPR. And the concept of CRISPR was that you could look at the double helix and there were on and off switches on the double helix called the DNA of a human. And you could look at those on and off switches and go, well, if that's turned off, they have no optical nerve, for an example. If these 3 are turned off, they will never have children because their body didn't form properly to do that. And if these are on and off, their eyes are blue. And if these are on and off, their eyes are green.
Okay.
And if you could turn those switches on and off at will, then you could basically redesign a human that's already existing. In fact, in the CRISPR docuseries, one of the focal points was a 6-year-old boy that they began treating with mRNA so that his body would then receive the CRISPR. And by the time he was 12, a child from birth who never had an optical nerve grew one.
Okay.
By turning the switches on.
So are you trying to say the DNA is also, the DNA actually can be seen as the holographic.
So that is the smallest that we know of at this point, representation of what a human is in its completeness.
Yes.
Okay.
Or you can look at a human body as a holographic reflection of the whole universal energy. So that's why each person
Okay, that's
is
creepy.
also reflection of the universal energy.
So are they like different little individual DNAs all stuck together that create the larger universe?
Well, that
Because they're
goes
all
to,
different, right?
to what you think the universe is.
Okay. This may be a question too big for this show.
Very,
Because I know Jordan Peterson and Sam Harris have argued about that one, and that's probably over my pay grade.
it's very like a profound theory or whatever. And there's no proof. It's just my understanding.
Our understanding as best we can understand it, right?
Yes.
I don't claim to know the whole truth, and I don't claim to have my own truth, but I do say it is the truth as I can comprehend it.
However,
That's the
if
best I
you
can
look
do.
at it, I think you can see the repeat of the same pattern from the macro to the micro.
To the microscopic.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can tell that, right?
Yeah.
It has the same pattern. You can think about the planetary system.
Mm-hmm.
You have the solar system, the sun is in the center, then you have all these planets, our planetary solar system, planets circling around. That is the same, very similar concept as if you have an atom and then the electrons circling around.
Right, the protons and neutrons. Okay, and so I've even seen illustrations of a stream of water impacted by sound that at just the right frequency replicates one side of an RNA or a DNA strand.
Yes.
You ever seen that? It looks like one side of the ladder,
Yes.
even with the actual crossing bars in it.
So that goes
that's kind of
to,
creepy.
The energy can affect the water structure, even if it's pure water.
Right.
If you play certain sound, so the water can be affected by the mood.
Yeah,
and then the
it's
human
not just
body,
the structure of the water, it's the actual molecule of
Yes.
the water.
So the human body is 70% of water. So that's why human body can be affected by many
Like a train at 3 o'clock
many
in the morning.
things. like my cousin Vinny.
My cousin Vinny. Oh yeah, you bland. Yeah. Okay, so you do acupuncture, you do other holistic medicines. Like I remember you saying recently about a guy that came and got stem cells for knee pain, and they called you back 2 weeks later. He's like, "It's swollen," and you were like, "Yeah, send me a picture." I would guess that if you're doing an injection on somebody, there's a concern that if there's swelling at the injection site, there might be a problem. But tell us the story.
So he had the stem cell for his knee because he had meniscus surgery 3 years ago. And since then, he has already still had problems. He said he could do running, he could do other things, but then on certain days, he would feel his knee is locked.
Right.
Cannot move and has pain. So 2 weeks after the injection, he actually said he felt his knee was much better. But then he started doing 5 squats. He said he did it very slowly, but maybe because he did it in the wrong way, because I wasn't with him. So
Right.
The next day he said his knee starts swelling.
Right.
So, but then when he sent me the picture, the swelling is above the knee. It's not on the knee
That's
joint.
not where you put the shot.
And I went to see his knee after he sent me the picture because I offered him some solution with my proprietary herbal spray, which
Like
I've been
ancient Chinese.
I've been trying to market it for the past 15 years, or I was thinking of marketing it, but never really made the full effort. But I think right now maybe is the right time to do it because it's a very good combination for stem cell treatment for any joint conditions.
It's like a follow-on topical type thing?
Yes.
Okay, and what does it do?
So it penetrates very deep into the joint because of the particular ingredient originally this ingredient is from an animal called musk.
Okay.
So the
like
male musk,
right?
Like
it's like a rat.
They use musk gland in perfume.
Yeah, for the pheromones.
Yeah, because it's a pheromone from the male musk attracting the females.
Right.
So
I used to have some of that cologne.
You take that.
Not like a sweaty animal.
You take that sac, that that is emitting that pheromone, and that ingredient comes from that sac.
Okay.
So because of its particular property of penetrating deep into the muscle and joint, and then it can carry, it's like a carrier. It can carry other ingredient in that particular formula to help the joint or muscle heal faster. So without any surgery.
Now, some people say there are certain oils, like I use a lot of oil of oregano. I'll put it in my throat. I use it on my gums and stuff like that. I've even put it, like I got a wasp sting on my hand that swole up really, really fast. And I washed it with antibacterial soap, and then I put oil of oregano straight into the sting wound. And the next morning there was no hole, no swelling, no mark. I could have taken a picture of it the night before and then taken a picture the next morning, and you wouldn't have known there was anything there. I mean, it was just gone. But I hear that, like castor oil, if you put that in your belly button, within 20 minutes, you'll taste it in your mouth. And I know for a fact, because I dropped my oil of oregano bottle one day on my foot, and I could taste it.
Okay, so that means it.
So how is my tongue related to my toe?
Because again, if we go back to the channels theory in acupuncture, Chinese medicine, for certain each herb used in Chinese herbal medicine can enter a particular channel in your body very easily.
Really?
So I would say oregano probably can enter through your foot, travel along the liver channel or gallbladder channel very easily. And then from there, that's how you can taste it.
So my gallbladder and my tongue are associated.
Actually, tongue is associated with heart channel. So it can be.
The way to a man's heart is through his foot? No,
So
I think it says
on the foot is mostly kidney, gallbladder, liver, spleen channel. So,
interesting.
but if you enter through, say, liver channel, and then it can actually, through liver, go to gallbladder, and from gallbladder to spleen. I don't know how to explain that. Just trying to give you an example that
Apparently there's a lot of ways to get to the tongue.
Actually enter different channels.
And they do different things when they're in the body.
Yes.
Okay. So you do acupuncture and herbal medicine, and you've already talked about stem cells.
Yes.
So is any one of those kind of the holy grail of Eastern medicine?
Well, if you really want to talk about holy grail of Eastern medicine, you have to talk about I Ching, which is, you've seen the trigram before, right? Like 3 solid lines and then 3 broken lines.
Okay.
So that is the holy grail of Chinese medicine.
And what does that mean?
That is, again, that goes to
it's the highest level of
it goes
meditation.
To the cycle flow, follow the natural flow. And that is the understanding of the universal cycle.
Oh.
So
we're not there yet.
It has like 64 trigrams.
Oh.
So you have to understand everything based on that. I'm not the expert on that. I want to do a podcast with somebody who's more expert on that, who only speaks Chinese.
Oh, that would do me any good.
He's in California right now. So originally I talked to him. I said I want to do a podcast with him, and then I have to translate what he says, and then somebody has to do voice over. And Larry Roberts said he would like to do that.
Oh, there you go. Larry's a good guy for that. He's got the great radio voice. Very good.
Yeah.
Anything I failed to ask?
No, but I would say the reason I love stem cells so much is because I think stem cell using the umbilical cord mesenchymal stem cells is sort of close to the energetic understanding in Chinese medicine, and also it can affect your body through the channels.
So here's my own simplified, maybe like kindergarten level simplified. I've seen the pictures of the first interaction between the sperm and the egg. And there's an explosion of light, a birth of energy. a literal birth of energy that prior to that did not exist. And in my own simplified way, I like to think of that as the same spark when Jesus said, power went out for me.
Okay.
It's a burst of life that travels into a new place and starts something else. And my theory, it's my own kindergarten level theory, is that when that umbilical life is still flowing to feed that baby, the closer you are to that spark of life, the more powerful the opportunity to reproduce that life.
Or you can look at it, if we already talked about the holographic image, the whole universe is holographic, right? So what you described about the sperm fertilizing the egg, don't you think that's also similar to the birth of planetary system, or the birth of a new nova system?
So here's a conjecture for you, and I'll let the deep theologians dig into this one. We talk about how frequency impacts the water molecule, and the right frequency can make that water molecule look like a DNA. What if, because scripture, the way I read it, says, in the beginning God spoke, and all the rest of it happened because of his voice. What if the power of the voice is that frequency that converts the molecule to life?
Okay.
And it's the frequency, that energy that happens right then that converts that sperm and egg into a new life. And that retains its energy throughout the entire course of that life. I've only seen a few dead bodies in my life, but it's not hard at all to look at that flesh bag of organs and realize there's no life in there.
Okay.
When you see a corpse, you realize the essence of what made that bag of flesh the human that I knew is gone. It left. It's somewhere else.
So do you believe the person, when the person dies, the spirit, or the spirit can be the energy, the initial energy, what goes into that particular person leaves the flesh, and then what's left is basically the organic material,
what's left
building up the human body?
I absolutely believe that, and I believe.
But then how does it confirm to your Christian belief, or most Christians believe, when people die you go to heaven or go to hell, or how does it confirm to that?
So there's a verse in scripture that says Adam and Eve were in the garden with God, and then they sinned, they turned their back on God, and at that moment they died. Meaning the spirit of God that empowered them, that enlivened them, that spark in them shifted. Now their bodies were still alive, but the spirit in them was dead. The way that I understand that is, as we reunite with God through forgiveness and repentance, the Spirit of God comes back in us. That life comes back in us. That's why Scripture says you can do greater things. You have more power in your physical body now than Jesus had, because those who believe are multiplied. But they can do things that Jesus did, like lay hands on people and the energy go into their life to restore their life or heal their body. Those practices are philosophically within different religions applied differently, but they all require that you have a connection with the external superpower of God, by whatever name you call him, through a channel. We say in Christianity that's Jesus Christ, and that while there may be billions of ways to come to Jesus Christ, there has to be, because there's billions of people. All of them come to Jesus differently, but through him, through the Son, the one who died and came back, he proved that I can kick death's butt and be alive again by my own will. And so when he did that, he said, okay, here's the power. We call it the Holy Spirit. So that life energy now exists in the Christian to say, I have the power to live free, and I have the power to give life to others through that relationship. But there's also a theory that the man, the human being who doesn't have that connection with God, walks around like a dead man. His body works, but he has no living connection with God, which means when the body stops operating properly, when the liver function and the liver energies goes poof, and it's all out, it's like blowing out a candle, the body dies and the soul spends eternity separated from God. Now, there is a place where the angels are imprisoned, called hell. And the soul that hasn't connected with God through forgiveness doesn't ascend to heaven in the spirit. It descends into the prison for eternity. So that's the way I understand it, read it, and teach it. But that separation of the spirit from man and God is that man doesn't really have a living spirit until God puts it back in him. And that only comes through rebirth.
So then when a person dies, if you go to heaven, basically that means your spirit reunites.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And the way that most Christians understand it is that your spirit is reunited with God to the minute that you believe that he did that he died and rose again, that he beat up death, and that you say, okay, Jesus, I accept that. I take your deal. Like what is that, deal or no deal? I accept your offer, right? So if you accept the offer, then that's done. And if you don't accept the offer, then the consequence is, well, you don't get the deal. And the suitcase is still there, but you didn't take it, so it's not your suitcase. Seems a little complicated, or maybe oversimplified. I'm not exactly sure. Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. What else did I fail to ask?
No, because we were talking about stem cells. So because the stem cells very close to the spark
That
of
spark
energy
of life, yeah, that spirit. I think. I think it's just my conjecture. It's a theory I'm still working on. My ear is itching. Is that something wrong with my liver?
Kidney.
My kidney. Sorry, this is not shaped like a liver. I don't know. If you wrestle a lot, it can be shaped like a cauliflower.
Shape of kidney.
Okay.
Kidney.
So Regeneration Effect, Ancient Secrets for Youth.
Sacred wisdom for living young.
Sacred wisdom
for staying young, actually.
For staying young. And you can find that. What's the name of the website?
Regenerationeffect.com.
Regenerationeffect.com. Now, can they also find out about stem cells? And I understand you got a retreat center in Colombia. Can they get information about that on the same website?
Yes.
Cool. Awesome. Dr. Song, I really appreciate you being here.
Very nice to be here.
And if you're still watching, you probably have a lot more questions than you had before the show started, and I'm glad you do. Feel free to drop me an email, send me a DM. You know what? Tell the network, hey, we love that this show was on. And if you've got more questions for Dr. Song, go to regenerationeffect.com and send her an email. She'll be glad to answer it. I'm J. Loren Norris with Storypower TV. Have a blessed day. There will be times in our lives when the gospel doesn't get 45 minutes. The theological treatise is out the door. The explanation of the Romans Road, too much for the moment. I still believe the best testimony in the history of time is 6 words. I was blind, now I see. What more is there? Because every one of you individually is a weapon. And our job equipping the saints, what God has called Summer to do, is to prepare you to go out there like a laser.
My name is Christina Knowles, and I just got done taking Jay Loren's Storypower Masterclass. It was amazing. I took away so much information. One of the things that I really enjoyed being formally trained in media many, many years ago is the call to action. I will use that with every speaking engagement, and I'm so grateful that Loren just spoke truth into his teachings, and he is a true professional. And I know this might sound weird, but I've been taking certifications in different classes over the years, and Loren is not boring. I can't even believe I got here at 9, and then the class went by so fast that I was like, it's time to go already? And I was shocked that it was time to go already. So it's an awesome class. You're going to enjoy it, I promise.